basically because of my inventions and my mining technologies and stuff, and also because I personally invented mining technologies and personally invented pottery, or some pottery, and and other things. I had the ability to pay people literally for years. I could pay people for literally 5 years, and they didn't really have to produce anything at all. They could produce absolutely nothing, and I wouldn't feel the loss even a little bit. Um, so, like I say, I could pay people for 20 years and really not feel it. And because I was continually working myself to invent better mining technologies, um, like I said, I really wouldn't feel it then because I was personally seeing to it that I could mine more and make more minerals and metal, and also overseeing a lot of um, forges personally as well, and just telling people what I wanted them to do, and they did do, and we calculated or looked at the results, and so I could basically pay people to basically do things for literally a very, 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 very long time. And then when I got my first printing presses, what I did was I used my personal metal mining technology and stuff, and my other things to do other things to do other things to do pottery, to do ships, to do sawmills, to do water wheels, to build roads, to connect my factories and things better, to build printing presses, to perfect paper, to be able to print money, to mine for gold, to create a financial system, and it just goes on and on and on. And I spent about 700 years doing this, or actually about 1700 years, perfecting and doing things, and then just paying people to do exactly what I wanted them to do. Horseshoes, forges, big pots, stuff like that. Built an empire, you might say. Slate mine. Um, anyway, and building of swords and chariots and the Colosseum, and then perfecting of food, and then building of cars and everything. Anyway, so anyway, because of my personal inventions, I was able to, like I say, pay people in Japan to become extremely good at making metal and making swords, which I thought would actually be benefit to society, really, because they were learning about and messing around with minerals, and so I had blacksmith shops supplied with my metal, some Damascus steel, some other shops, and other things. So, anyway, though, I mean, it's very relative, and I can't really tell you exactly, maybe financially I made a mistake, and it cost me dearly, who knows. But then again, I created the financial system, created banks, created, like Lloyd's of London, created a lot of different organizations, the idea of insurance, the idea of economy, the idea of a world economy, the idea of countries, the idea of states, textiles, all kinds of stuff, cotton, even some silk stuff. But I think might have been my people I was paying to do a very good job, and they did. They did a very, 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 very amazing job. And also hiring the Chinese people who also maintained or took care of the silkworms to also work with the silk fabrics themselves. And they also created the first dresses for the White House and stuff. First Lady, President, all that stuff. So I think so. And some other dresses as well. Because only they could actually... because silk is actually different than most other fabrics. And you have to know how to deal with or how to sew with silk. Not just anyone can just work with silk, and it was so expensive that I hired a team of people to actually create dresses and stuff out of it, because you have to handle it a certain way. You can't just do whatever with it. So anyway, so it's very, running an empire. It's not an easy thing. It was quite difficult and headachy and everything. And later on, I put the first satellites in space for MTV and all that kind of stuff, and also world broadcasting and radio towers and just everything. That's why I'm called All. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of different and strange. And then later on, I paid for advanced sciences, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Anyway, and photographs. So anyway, well, where was I? Oh yeah, Japanese swordsmiths. Anyway, though, I love my Orientals. Big hug. Most honorable people. It's funny. I heard stories about my samurai or my Japanese people doing bad things and stuff, and I was like, and I thought about it, and I thought, no, not them. My Japanese people were perfectly loyal. Every time I had worked with them, they had been the most honorable and most loyal people I ever met. So when I heard stories about the samurai doing bad things or this or that, I was like, I don't believe it. I'm not going to believe it. So I didn't. And because, I mean, they were just... When I worked with the Japanese or Orientals, they were perfectly honorable, perfectly loyal, and did everything better than I expected. So that's when I heard stories about them, about the samurai, my samurai doing dishonorable things, I was like, no, they would never. And so like I just told people no, that they weren't. So anyway, running an empire, it's difficult. It's not easy.